We're at Wanganella in southern New South Wales. We're sheep graziers, run a few cattle, irrigated pasture, about 17,000 acres. My family's been on this property since 1951 and we've been constantly working on weed control and other biosecurity issues.
The boxthorns seed a lot, and obviously birds are attracted to the berries, and they come along, eat them, and then obviously fly to a tree and drop the seeds, and it starts germinating from there. So if you don't get on top of them early, they're going to cost you a lot of money. But the biggest thing is though, the boxthorns will fill up a tree area pretty quickly, and then your stock loses shelter.
Stock won't go into graze under them, and also they're hard to actually muster through and hard on vehicles, very hard on tyres. If you've let the boxthorns get away, the time taken to actually get a program, mount a program and actually either dedicate staff or labour to it, it's a very time consuming job to get rid of it once it takes off. And that's probably one of the major issues. They haven't seen it as an issue in the past, and then suddenly they turn around and say, oh shivers, we now have an issue because we haven't seen it coming.
The biggest thing with boxthorns is having options. Obviously here today we're in amongst the trees, and we have a couple of options. We can pull them out, we can mulch them, or we can spray them.
And the issue I'd say is landholders might say, well, where do we start? Or they don't have the machinery to actually get in and physically remove the boxthorns in big clumps or under trees. And that's suddenly the clump gets bigger and bigger, and then it's a wall of boxthorns.
Pulling them out is probably the best option. Mulch the smaller ones and then follow up with the spray later on. Well, not all methods are going to suit the one place either. So we obviously do a property inspection on the farm that we're on and work out what the best option is for that sort of area. In this part here, we've found that we're better off to pull them out, then mulch and then spray. But sometimes you can just spray. If they're small enough to spray to get all the way around the plant, that's probably the best option. Then it all depends on what crop's in as well, whether it's windy. The weather and conditions play a big part of what control method you use. To spray a boxthorn, it's got to have a lot of leaf matter on it for the chemical to get into the boxthorn itself. I think pulling them out's the best because you're taking a plant that's pretty well established and pulling something that big out, put in a pile, burn later, come back and you're spraying the regrowth that's something that's only 50 centimetres tall. It might take a little bit of time at the start to pull them out, but once you get that first year out of the road, especially if you've got a follow-up program later on, which you should have, because boxthorns you can't kill in 12 months, you've got to have a 4 to 5 year program to get rid of them all.
When you've cleared an area of boxthorn, it's really important to have that follow-up, as Matt has explained, have that follow-up spraying for a couple of years. Often the native boxthorn will have some seed pods on it, whereas the African boxthorn has red berries, not all the time, and they're dormant at this time of year. With the African boxthorn, they're a really bright green, and also they're a rounded leaf. They're fairly distinctive when you actually look at them closely. They are an understory plant, and they do provide habitat for small woodland birds. So if you take all these out, originally there would have been some understory. There would have been Nida goosefoot and Lignum oswaldii, Acacia oswaldii. There's a punty bush or senna that grows in this black box community. So you need to put back your understory. Eradication and control is the biggest and most important thing with boxthorns. The great thing about direct seeding is there's very little input from the landholder, so it's less labour intensive, and all landholders are time poor these days. And also it's very cost effective. Direct seeding is the way to go. We've had great success with it over the years.